Well, hello and welcome to the Power of Your Mind podcast. You are listening to episode number 377. I'm Victoria Gallagher, your host. Every week, I am here to inspire you to tap into the incredible power of your mind and helping you to understand the law of attraction, manifestation, hypnosis, affirmations, meditation, and all kinds of powerful tools, all designed to rewire your mindset and propel you towards success. Today, we are listening to episode number 377, Delusional Faith with Malaysia Harrell. And before we dive in, I just want to make sure that you subscribe to the Power of Your Mind podcast on your favorite platform so that you never miss an episode. And if you've been enjoying the show, please go ahead and leave a review, share it with someone who could use a little inspiration, or download my Believe Hypnosis app, which is packed with over 1,000 sessions on affirmations, meditations, all to all designed to help you to manifest your goals and your dreams. And if you're new to the show, if you're new to me, I'm Victoria Gallagher. I'm a best-selling author, Practical Law of Attraction, several other books, and I've been a hypnotherapist for over 25 years. Also a digital creator, course creator, inspirational speaker, and entrepreneur. And I specialize in helping business professionals manifest success using practical mindset strategies and the law of attraction. So now let's get into today's episode number 377, Delusional Faith with Malaysia Harrell. Malaysia Harrell is a psychotherapist, a spiritual transformation coach, an award-winning entrepreneur, a veteran keynote speaker, and an author who helps women find freedom and fulfillment. But really, she is a healer, an unleasher, and a light that leads women back to their true selves so that they can live fully and finally. As a licensed psychotherapist and board certified clinical social worker, Malaysia blends clinical expertise, spiritual wisdom, and intuitive guidance to help women overcome their past trauma, heal their hurts, and define their vision in their lives. And her incomparable coaching guides clients on an intimate, insightful journey to break free from limiting beliefs and expectations and discover their lives of authenticity, purpose, and bliss. And she is extraordinary at walking women through radical transformation. Malaysia is more than just her client's coach, she is their champion. Simply put, it is impossible to be in Malaysia's presence and leave unchanged. Ooh, I'm so excited for our show today. I could go on and on. You can find more about Malaysia on her websites, her Instagram, Malaysia Harrell, and her Facebook, LinkedIn, all will be in the show notes. And if you have any specific websites you want to shout out to our audience now or at the end, by all means. But today we are going to be talking about, her upcoming book, God Has My Six. She dives deep into the power of faith, what she calls delusional faith, the kind of belief that defies logic and paves the way for the impossible. So get ready for an inspiring conversation, talking about faith, mindset, stepping into your full potential. Welcome to the show, Malaysia.
Thank you for having me, Victoria. I'm so happy to be here today.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you on the show. Looking bright, and beautiful in your red,
Thank
loving your
you.
background. Just looks great.
Thank
What is
you.
the emblem right behind your head there? It says Dream
Um, yeah, Dream Life
Manifested.
Manifested. This is my women's community. something that I birthed during my healing journey. So I'm just very, very excited about it.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Well, if you guys are just listening to the podcast, I highly recommend that you join the conversation over on my YouTube channel, which is Victoria M. Gallagher. And it'll probably also be somewhere on Malaysia's social media. So be sure to check it out. Well, before we get into the book and everything, let's talk about, your journey that has been one of resilience, transformation, and purpose. Can you share some of the pivotal moments in your life that really shaped your mindset and led you to where you are today?
Sure. Thank you again for this opportunity. And, looking at pivotal moments in my life, I think there have been several. But from a young child, I knew that I had spiritual gifts. And I grew up in a lot of poverty, a lot of abuse, exposed to all different sorts of types of abuse. And I couldn't imagine at that time why I would be born, right, to experience these things. And especially coming up in a household where, we went to church and all of these other things. And it just didn't make sense to me. And I really learned about the power of visualization. I used to get messages in my dreams. And as I grew up, there were many more countless experiences and traumas that really helped to define kind of who I was. And but as a young person, you don't understand exactly, what a lot of things mean or how they relate. But as you continue to go through other things in life and you truly align with your purpose, that's when you say, okay, now you're starting to connect the dots between all the different things that have occurred and really have gotten you to where you are now.
Wow. Yeah, that you've come a long way since,
Yeah.
since childhood. And it's always like you never really understand exactly why you're going through the things that you're going through.
Yes,
A lot of times until later on when you realize that you're here to lead other people and to
that's
teach
right.
and to help them to overcome.
That's right.
So, well, thank you for sticking sticking with that. In your upcoming book, you talk about God. God has my six, and you talk about overcoming adversity and walking in faith. So, how talk to us about this delusional faith and how that plays a role in your personal story and the lessons that you share in your book.
Yes. So let me just tell you a little bit about the book. So this book is a teaching memoir, right? And this was birthed after I had a near-death experience in 2020 after coming home from a deployment at the height of COVID. At that time, there were so many things going on spiritually at the deployment. There was a lot of death there. And I just knew something was shifting, something was changing. And I still didn't know exactly what. I just thought, oh, this is traumatic, right? This is an experience. And when I got home, well, let me just tell you. So before I got home, I had my grandmother came in my dream. She has now passed on. She's my grandmother who raised me after, I was removed from my mom's home and brought to her home. And she told me basically it was time to go with her. And
Mhm.
I'm like, cool, I had
Oh.
a great life. Like, where we going? And I just had this overwhelming sense of calm, overwhelming sense of peace. I still didn't get it though. So I get home and all, being a mental health provider, I had to do what I told my clients to do, so I was working out, working out. And I remember there were one day that I got on my Peloton bike twice. And the next day, or maybe that night, oh, it was that night, it was like 3 a.m. I got up and I couldn't walk. I was trying to go to the bathroom. So I crawled to the bathroom and I didn't want to wake my husband up. And so I'm in the bathroom on the floor and I can't get up. So I'm crying.
Oh.
So he heard me. He came to get me. He came to pick me up. And ultimately, it was a lot of back and forth going to the doctors, them saying they didn't see anything. Ultimately, got hospitalized at Walter Reed Medical Center. And I'm there 4 days, Victoria. And after 4 days, the doctor comes and says, Captain Harrell, we can't find anything. We're sending you home today. Now they're giving me the highest level meds and they weren't working. So imagine being on these meds and the pain being that extremely high. So I knew I was transitioning, but I had to maintain this presence as a provider because they were just going to put me in the psych ward. And they sent in a psychiatrist actually. And I'm like, is this a somatic symptom? Like, because if this is so, after that story, I had to advocate for myself. They ended up finding sepsis in my hip.
Oh
I
my
would have died even if I stayed in the
God.
hospital a couple more days. And so, in that situation where I dedicated my life to this country, I deployed, put myself in harm's way countless times, helped so many people around the world. And now, when I need help, so I was in a very dark place.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, is this where we're going with this? Like, if my nana told me, again, I didn't put everything together, but then I reverted back. I started thinking about the law of attraction, the law of assumption. I started thinking about the tools that I've already used in my life to get where I am today. And so that unwavering delusional faith, I said, I'm not a patient. I had my husband. Well, I was in the hospital for a very long time. But when I was able to start getting up and getting dressed, I wore my clothes.
Yeah.
I wore my own clothes. So I just wore their clothes at night. I had to believe
Yeah.
that I was not there. So anyone who is going through a dark time, I'm telling you, you can bring yourself, you have the power to bring yourself in another position. And I had to do this because amongst our veteran population, we still have a lot of suicides. So I said, you know what? It's my duty to get this book out to show that you can use that unwavering faith and you can will yourself. So the reason why I got to bring it up till today, after that, I was in and out of the hospital for 4 years, 9 surgeries. I got up to 254 pounds and I had Bell's palsy. If you look at me today, would you ever be able to tell any of that?
Not at all.
Okay,
Not at all.
there you go.
You have really 180'd. I mean, incredible,
Yes,
incredible.
yes,
And one little thing. So you said that you wore your own clothes.
I
Did
sure
did the
did.
hospital staff know that you were doing that, or
Yes.
uh-huh, and they were
So
okay with
I
it?
had my stylist bring some clothes to my husband, and I told her, so I needed stuff that was open and, able to move, because they obviously I had a pick on for I think 6 weeks straight,
Okay.
with all the antibiotics. So I think my body was like, okay, but yeah, they knew, and I was able to but I had to put myself somewhere else. I could not believe what was going on in front of me. I had to
Exactly.
believe that something bigger was going to happen for me.
Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
makes sense. And, having some kind of a tool such as your wardrobe and, were you putting on makeup? Were you,
Oh no.
no.
I was high all the time. I wasn't here. I'm watching Disney. I watched every day. I put on some of the Marvel movies, but the biggest one was the movie with Will Smith, Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
Aladdin was on all day. The music helped
Yeah.
to take me away as well, the soothing. So there were
Yeah.
so many things that I really was able, with the resources that I had, you make it
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely. Wow. Well,
Yeah,
kudos to you. That's amazing. That's amazing.
thank
So,
you.
so many people struggle with self-doubt. And, I mean, just, they didn't have, I mean, what you had to kind of take you out. I mean, there are different levels of things that can take somebody through self-doubt. And so I don't
Yeah,
want to minimize anybody else's experience.
that's right.
But there are so many people that do struggle with self-doubt, fear,
Hmm. Hmm.
especially when it comes to pursuing their biggest dreams in life. And it's
Yes.
sad. It's sad they like let it literally stop them.
Yeah.
Or maybe they don't let it stop them, but they kind of let it sabotage,
Hmm.
their progress. So how can people that are struggling with this self-doubt, maybe even imposter syndrome or
Hmm.
those fears, how can they start to shift their mindset and believe in the impossible when everything around them is telling them, that it's not possible?
That's right. Well, again, I had to experience it myself, right? I thought I was at the highest level of government, high ranking, and I thought I had not made it. I knew there was still more work for me to do. But when I went through this challenge, right, and I don't, because I hate the labels, let's start taking some of those labels off. If I say I have trauma, then I'm going to experience trauma. So
Yeah.
I really, I try to reframe, cognitive reframe, just like you do in mental health therapy. So I try to reframe those experiences. But one of the things that was pivotal for me is the book by Dr. Maltz, the psycho-cybernetics.
Yeah.
So because I was on so much meds, I couldn't really read. I couldn't just look at books. I'm all foggy, but listening to audiobooks, and I was able to do that. So that book talks about basically becoming, and we know this with the law of attraction, becoming who you already want to be. And
Yes.
so even in the hospital, I could not, in the scene, it looked very bleak. And I didn't know, and when all the medical stuff kept coming, I didn't know if I was going to actually survive. So I thought to myself, well, if this is one of my last days, how do I want to live this?
Mm.
And so that book and the other book act as if, and then there's the alter ego book. There's so many different resources and what resonates for you. But if in your mind you can believe that you already have become the person who you want to be, and when you stay around the people who know you, it's gonna feel a lot delusional because they're gonna be like, "Who is this person? I don't understand." And so sometimes you may not be able to communicate everything to everyone around you because they're not going to see your vision. You have been given this vision by the divine, by God. And so a lot of people around you in this space. So it's great to get around people who are going where you're going. So during that time, it was COVID. I couldn't really walk. I was on, a walker and everything. I could get on a mastermind on Zoom. Everybody else was on Zoom anyway.
Yeah.
Get in a group, get in a book club of people who think like you're thinking and
Hmm.
are going where you want to go. And they don't know you. They don't know your experience. So they're going to believe you are who you say you are
Yeah.
unless you say different or show them different. So
Right.
start putting yourself in the space. When you start to think, this is the person that I want to become, you do your scripting exercises, you write down, hey, today I did this, and you make that your perfect day, right? As if it's already happened. You read that thing in the morning, you read it at night. And then once what happens is this spiritually, when you embrace that person that your highest version self, all the decisions that you start to make align with that. So even if you say, you know what, I'm the most fit person, I'm the most healthy person, when something presents in your atmosphere, something on TV, a food, whatever it is, or going to the club or going somewhere that the old version of yourself used to do, you're going to say, you know what, I'm no longer doing that.
Right.
And so your world, once you embrace that, your world just starts to change around you. The gates open and you're going to see a whole different reality. You'll see your reality start to shift to look like what you're wanting now. And so it was very difficult for me to retire at 20 years and 8 months. I thought I'd do 30. I thought I'd make another rank. But God said, no, I have a bigger purpose for you now. I'm elevating you to a different level, but I need you to be obedient to that. And even if you don't muster up the strength, when you're doing what you're called to do, it doesn't feel like work and it feels like you get energy. It's like you're a superhero getting the energy you need once you start to walk in what you. And so again, everybody, if you were a high powered attorney and you become a person that's reading to children. You know what I mean? Like whatever you're calling it, people are going to look at you like, you okay? You going through a midlife, the words that they use.
Yeah.
But no, you walk into who you are authentically. I'm telling you what. And here's the other thing, Victoria, and I just want to put this out there. If you are in a low place and you feel like things are bleak, you have nowhere to go but up. So why not see with the possibility? I don't have nothing else to do. What else is that opportunity to see how far we can go in life?
That's a beautiful message. I love that. I mean, it's so true
Yeah.
because, what do you really have to lose? If you are in that low place, I mean, you might as well look at where you could be. Look at the you that you are, that you're the version of yourself that has all of the things that you want,
Yes.
that has the
Yes.
success that you want.
Mhm.
I love that. And it did remind me a little bit of, just that transformation that I made over 25 years ago when here I was a stockbroker and complete 180 became a hypnotherapist. And it's like,
Yes.
what happened to you?
Right.
But it's so true. It's like when you get into that place, and you just feel led and you
Yes.
just feel like, well, this is who I am now. And
Mhm.
and you can do or have anything that you want.
Yes. Victoria, it reminds me of the book by Dr. Wayne Dyer,
Hmm.
the Shift.
Hmm.
He talks about, so it was just this movie that he made,
Yeah,
and he talks about how in the beginning of your life, your purpose is driven by titles, more by the ego, right? So by money, by titles, by maybe even other people's thoughts about what you were supposed to be doing for your life.
right.
And then when you have that shift, that's when you start to go in alignment like with your divine purpose. And so that I listened to that too, that one, or watched that one was really good as well, but I had watched that again, years ago. But books like that, movies like that, just really putting yourself in positivity, staying away from social media and all the chaos or people's perceived chaos, just be away from all of that stuff. And I'm telling you, you can focus on exactly what you want.
Absolutely. No, these books, they are just life-changing,
Yes,
and sometimes, they're exactly what you need to hear at the right time. I mean,
that's right.
sometimes I just do feel like, wow, it's like how did the universe know I needed to hear that exact message?
Right. Right. It's like, is it listening? You talk and you're like, oh, the iPhones are picking up what I'm saying. And then, I say I need a broom and then brooms start coming up on my phone. But it's like that with the universe as well. It is like that.
It
Once you
really
start
is.
to, you're going to manifest it. You're going to manifest it. Be careful what you ask for, though. Like people don't see both sides of it. They're like, oh, I just want to manifest. Well, you want to be ready to be able to keep it. You want to be prepared. We don't just want to manifest, we want to thrive. We
Absolutely.
want to be able to keep it. We want to manifest more great things and we want to help other people to do the same. So we have to be prepared for it.
Absolutely. So you've worked with a lot of high achiever women who feel unfulfilled despite their success. So how does the faith mindset and intentional action help them to step into their full potential and create lasting transformation?
Well, for the high achieving women, in my experience with a lot of the people that I've worked with, it's very difficult for them to acknowledge that change needs to be made. How it manifests a lot of times is with their health. So I have coaches in different parts of the world. They have a big following, but their health is telling them, okay, we need to do something different. And so what happens is the biggest part is acknowledging. I think that's the hardest part, right? Or the most challenging is acknowledging, because you think, okay, well, I'll get this certification. I'll just keep taking these courses. I want to add more. But the biggest thing is you're going to have to subtract more in the beginning, because now we need clarity, we need focus to determine, like when you're having, a bodily response to something that you're eating and you don't know what it is. So you do like the elimination diet. It's the same thing. So with your life, so you're going to do the elimination. You're on all these boards, you're and all these, for your family, for the faith-based community, whatever you're involved in, or your community. And so you have had no time for yourself. So we start to get, a lot of people do have a lot of traumas that their body is remembering. The body keeps the score. I love that book as well. And I actually went to that training as well. And so once you start to acknowledge that I need to do something different, and you're open to exploring what that is, we get clarity, right? And we determine what are the things that we need to work on for you and develop a plan that makes sense for you. I don't believe that everything in all the books and all the resources are fit for everyone. I feel like some people have to do things differently depending on what they've experienced, what they want out of life. Some people don't want to change, they want to stay exactly the way they are. So once we do that, and we come up with that plan, and once we start to put it into fruition, we start to work that plan. When they start to see the results, even little things, wow, how did this happen? Oh, I needed to heal on this issue. And then I end up, so it's actually happening with my clients, to where situations will present that are so meaningful for them. It may seem like nothing to anyone else. And then it gives them the energy to continue to say, wow, this really does work. So it's not just mindset, it's definitely also the spiritual component of it, because it is there's so much clearing that we need to do. And as a hypnotherapist, that. And I got certified in hypnotherapy, I think 2 years ago as well. It is something. So I give this as an analogy. Most people, a high percentage of people who lose 50 pounds, they gain back 70, right? Mindset says, okay, I need to lose this weight. I want to be healthy. This is the way I want to look. Your spirit says, no, I'm still that person who was touched in a certain way. So I need to protect myself. So what's going to happen? The weight's going to come right back on. Whatever happens is going. So we call it maybe even some people may say self-sabotage, but I also say that your spirit thinks this about you, right? This has been programmed. So just like a computer, just like a phone, you have upgrades. You got to clean it out. What happens? So it's the same thing with your life. Once we start to clear some of that stuff out, and you align your mindset with your spirit, that's the biggest component that we're missing, I think, and why people are not able to have lasting, sustainable change.
Absolutely. That makes so
Yeah.
much sense. I mean,
Yeah.
we're programmed a certain way from a very, very early age. And so, our spirit thinks that that is who we are. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we just make this conscious idea, it's like, oh, I want to be that, I want to have this. Well, the person that you are isn't aligned with that. And I love your analogy of, like losing the weight, because, for me, I did just recently, step into the version of myself physically that I'm, always meant to be and hit my goal weight.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. But
Woo.
it was really interesting because, other areas of my life haven't been that easy for me to just get that vision of myself and step into. And
Yeah.
I thought about why that is. And when you hit the nail on the head, it's about eliminating, because when I was, eliminating certain foods and things like that, I was very, very strict and disciplined about that. But
Mhm.
on the career side, it's like, oh, I want a little bit of this, I want a little bit of that. And, we don't realize sometimes the more you add,
Yes.
the more distractions you have. And it, spirit, the universe doesn't know exactly who you are or where to put you. Well,
Mhm.
are you this? Are you that? So it really
Yes.
makes a lot of sense.
Yes. And congratulations. That is so, look, I got a little bit more to
Well,
go
you
till
look
I get to my goal
fantastic.
weight. Thank you. But it just, again, and then you start being around people, having conversations with people who are in similar spaces. This is how it works. So it doesn't feel hard because I say, oh, Victoria just did it. So I can do it too.
Yeah.
It's obtainable.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I remember when I first started, making recordings and selling them on online. And this was well before a lot of people were, making money at digital products. But I was doing this, early 2000s, I started my business late 99. But there was one person that when the moment that we sat down over wine. She was a creator as well. We sat
Mhm.
down over wine and we talked about, um, you know, and she told me how her business was doing, and I'm like, girl, well, if you can do it, it's just
Yes.
something clicked. And
Yes.
so no, so you're right, just being around people that are doing what you want
Yes.
and having a mastermind group, I love that.
Yes.
That's such a empowering place to put yourself in. So,
Absolutely.
besides that, what would you say are some other practical steps that someone could take today to actually start to embody that delusional faith in their own life, whether it's in business, whether it's relationships, it's their personal growth? What would you recommend as some steps that people can take?
Ooh, there's so many, but again, it depends. So we'll do an overall, right? Um, well, number one, get my book,
Yes.
Manifest the True You. It's a complimentary ebook. All right. You can get it right on my Instagram, in the link in bio. And it has some great actionable steps in there too. But number one is determining what you want. Many of us see all the things that everyone else wants or they have, and you think, I want that. And the reality is, if I had things exactly the way you had them, or somebody had things, or were trying to covet the things that I had, it might be a burden on them. That might not be in alignment with you. So just because, and just like we say, believe in the unseen, everything that you see is not real. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Everything that you see is not real. And so you may see, oh, I want this. And, I see people, a lot of people want to be in relationships. They want to be married. They want all these things. And then you see things online and people say, well, he can't bring me the red lobster or she can't bring me. What? Do you know how the prices of things now and how things are changing? Be open to the unfolding. Dr. Michael Beckwith talks about that all the time, like just being open to the unfolding.
Mm.
So once you make a decision on this is what I desire, okay, and here's my analogy for that, and it doesn't show up in a Tiffany box and it comes in a paper bag, I can get a Tiffany box and put it in there, can I?
You sure can.
So be open to the unfolding of it all. Once you decide, so you can't say, I want this and control the way you get it. And sometimes we miss the exit because we're too busy looking at this. I'm too busy looking at this. And so I'm missing the exit on this side that's going to get me directly to my destination because I'm following you in your Lamborghini on this other road. And that's not the road that I'm supposed to be going down. So I'm talking to I'm even talking to myself about this because it's so easy to get caught up.
Oh, yeah.
So once you decide what it is, you have to ask for it. You have to declare that you're going to do it, right? You're going to make this declaration that this is who I am. I am. That's the most powerful, phrase. So once you become it, once you decide what you want and you declare that you're going to get that, and then you ask for it and believe that you're going to receive it, it's actually going to come. But here's the other part of that. What are you willing to do to get it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, I can just watch The Secret and imagine in my mind that I'm gonna get that new bike. Remember when
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
when the movie first came out?
Yes.
Because I think I was in Hawaii, stationed in Hawaii at the time, and I was like, no, it's a little, and that the movie is so good, like to get you started, but there's so much more because in this universe, in this world, in our realm, there is the law of reciprocity.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You have to give to receive. And that's the part that we're missing. I'm thinking, oh, I'm just going to meditate all day and just get something. No, no, no. So if I say, oh, I need money because I am a philanthropist and I need all of this money. What am I going to do with those resources once I get it? Am I going to blow it away and just buy nonsense? Or am I going to help other people in need so that's the whole, I mean, those are the steps to get you started, but really declare and think about what you really want. Take some time. Don't say, oh, I want that house because I saw it.
Right.
Because sometimes we say things and we don't make it clear on what we're doing with it and the desire. And it's like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. And oh, somebody passes away that you love and you end up getting an inheritance. But I rather have that person than the money. I
Yeah.
can get another $1 million over here. So those are just examples. Be clear on your intentions, set them, ask for them, believe that they're going to come, but make sure that there is some sort of exchange that you are willing to give for it. So now, if you lost that weight, now I must, or let me give myself. If you healed or you're working on your healing, I mean, healing is a lifelong journey, I believe. Am I going to help other people heal? Am I going to share my story, even though it's vulnerable? And I wanted the world to believe I was this perfect person. And now I can be honest and say, wow, I went through some stuff too. And let me tell you about it so that you can get through it. There you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It just all makes so much sense. You know, being really clear about what it is that you actually do want, not
Yeah.
that thing that you think that you want just because you saw
Yes.
somebody on Instagram or TikTok,
Right.
you know. And I think people do get caught up in that, but being really ultra clear with yourself, what is it that I really want? Do I want millions of dollars, or is it that what I really want is to make an impact on other
Yes.
people, with my
Yes.
business, with my voice, with all of the gifts that I have. And,
Yes.
and that's because, like you said, I mean, if you think you just want money, that can come. That can come, but you may not necessarily be happy with the way that it comes.
That's right.
So you have to, and I absolutely 100% believe, that, yeah, it's like there is an action, and that action is like the intention. It's like,
Yeah.
what's the energy exchange
Mm-hmm.
that you're putting out there? And,
That's
it
right.
doesn't necessarily have to be hard work. It just needs to
No.
be But it just needs to be something that is a fair value. And
Yes.
so I everything that you said is beautiful. And so the Manifest the True You book,
Hmm.
that's available on your Instagram. You just go to
Yes.
your
The
Instagram.
ebook.
The
Yeah. And I think when you go to www.malaysiaharrell.com, I think it comes up there as well. So it should
Okay.
come up there.
So
Yeah.
www.malaysiaharrell.com, and they can get the ebook, and they can get to all the things that are going to help them to heal and grow
Yes.
and become the best version of themselves.
Absolutely.
Well, it has been a delight having you on the Power of Your Mind podcast. Thank you so much. Are there any other final words, any other places that our audience should go? Any other final steps that they should take before we wrap up today?
Well, again, thank you for this amazing opportunity. I love what you're doing. We need to have so much light in the world right now. And, light workers, people who are doing the work, that is a huge energy exchange right there. And one of the things that you said is that it shouldn't feel hard. When you are in alignment, you will accomplish 10 times to the 10x people talked about, right? You will experience things happen so, effortlessly, right? And when you won't believe it at first. So once you're in alignment, that's the biggest thing. And even if you have a thought on something that you want and it's not in alignment, you will get those messages. You will under I keep bumping my head up against the wall. Maybe you're supposed to do it, but not the way you're doing it. So sometimes again, just continuously getting clarity about what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be doing it, the people that you're supposed to meet, and just being open to that. And also my YouTube channel, you can watch a lot of my videos, on there as well. And again, you would not believe this. I just want to use myself as an example. One day I'm in uniform, right, serving at the highest levels of government, and the next, my footprint has expanded tenfold because what I was doing was mostly national and some international, depending on the policies. But I think I have more of a reach now than I would have had in that other capacity. And so now embracing that, it does come with some responsibility, but embracing that and helping others to see that they're able to do it as well and to walk into their authentic power, is going to be like your energy shield. Your energy, you're going to get it, you're going to see it, and you're going to meet people that you never thought you would meet before. I think 4 weeks after I officially retired, I'm in the room meeting with Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks.
Oh my
Those
goodness.
things just would not have happened had things not went the way they went. So just always have those beautiful reminders. And when you're going through and you're questioning yourself and you doubts may come up, just watch the unfolding and just enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process and go with the flow.
Yes,
And, life is taking you where you're meant to go.
that's
And
right.
so amazing. Well, thank you so much for being such a wonderful, inspirational guest on our podcast.
Thank you for having me.